What's good, guys? This is T Hoodie in Japan, back to give you another video. So, this is gonna be my second time shooting this video. Yeah, what had happened was, I guess it was late and I was sleepy, and I didn't save it. And then while trying to make another video, because I had kind of made some small little changes that I wasn't quite sure I wanted to keep, I closed it, or basically opened another file and didn't save. And then when I went back to that video, I realized, oops, there's nothing there, and I had to record everything over again. Yeah, told my wife, and she said, see, this is why you're not cut out to be a YouTuber. But like a corny shonen main character, I was like, you're wrong. If I believe, I can do it. I know I can. And my wife just rolled her eyes in disappointment, and I don't blame her. That was corny. But anyways, what are we here to talk about? We're here gonna talk more on fast food restaurants. Gonna talk about fast food restaurants from the States that are in Japan, and those that are not in Japan. And also we're gonna talk about Japanese fast food restaurants that's exclusive to Japan and may not be in the States. Now, I'm only saying the States because I haven't been to too many other countries, so I don't know fully what's there might be in other countries or not. Sorry to those who might not be from the States and might be more curious what might be in their country, but may or may not be in Japan. Sorry about that. I'm not a well-seasoned traveler. So, but a lot of these fast food restaurants you're probably going to be familiar with. Some of them I'm not familiar with. What I end up doing is basically asking my best friend, Mr. AI GPT, Mr. GPT. You know who, some of you might know who he is. For some of you, he might be your best friend too. So, that being said, with GPT, there were some things that were incorrect, and I had to correct GPT. So because I've definitely, like, some restaurants, they say it's not there, and I definitely have seen them. So, but so that being said, there might be even more incorrect things that I'm stating because of GPT. But I'll probably let you know, because I'm gonna say whether I've seen them or not, in the States and in Japan, and also depending on how often I've had the food in whatever restaurants, I'll tell you the comparisons if there are any. And yeah, so how are we gonna begin? We're gonna begin with fast foods restaurants that are in the States and that are also in Japan. So I'm gonna be listening a lot. Okay. Well, in hindsight, maybe I should have. Nah, it's fine the way it is. So let's start with the most obvious. You probably all know what it is. McDonald's. McDonald's in Japan is everywhere. Like the States, and probably like everywhere else, it's probably too many McDonald's. Too many is something I get sick and tired of. So, and don't get me wrong, I love their fries, and I also like their milkshakes, but when it comes to burgers, I'd rather have something else. So, So as like I said, this is obvious. So of course I've seen it plenty in the States and plenty in Japan. People say there's a difference in taste. I don't really taste it, but like I said, I've been like not really into McDonald's for quite a long time. I rarely eat it. I only really eat it for like I want some Western food, and that's the only thing that's there, and I'm really hungry. That's really the only time I will eat some McDonald's. But yeah, some people claim there's a difference in taste, but I don't really taste it. But yeah, next one is Burger King. Uh, Obviously in the States, it is in Japan too. Not as frequent as McDonald's, but it's definitely there. I've had Burger King in both areas. Again, I don't really taste the difference. Um, Nothing much to say there. Going back to McDonald's and also Burger King, it may not be like different menus, menus that's like exclusive to Japan and the States. For example, McDonald's have the samurai burgers, samurai something, and that's like a teriyaki burger, I believe, and so on and so forth. So if you want that, I believe that's only in Japan. So if you want that, I guess you would only be able to get it in Japan. That's my guess. I'm not 100% sure about that. Burger King, I think they have some similar thing where Japan's Burger King has their own burger or something like that. But yeah. Here's another one. This is one of my favorite fast food restaurants, and that's Wendy's. Wendy's, of course, they're in the States. Back in New York City, probably out of those three, Burger King, McDonald's, and Wendy's is the least plentiful. And that also counts in Japan too. Here's some information about Wendy's. Wendy's has been in Japan for a while, but I guess they wasn't doing so well and they was dying out. So Wendy's made a power move and decided to integrate with another restaurant called First Kitchen. I'll talk about First Kitchen later, but just wanted to put that information out there. Like I said, the information as far as Wendy's and in the States and in Japan is concerned, definitely have like some similar menus, but there's others that's different, and part of it goes with the First Kitchen thing I talked about, which like I said I'll talk about later. Next one, KFC. KFC. There's a lot of KFC. So for those who like KFC, you don't really have to worry about that, in my opinion. I always felt that like Popeyes and Chick-fil-A were like the number one chicken places. KFC just like but here in Japan, KFC is super popular, and it's especially popular in Christmas time. For some reason, there's this tradition with the Japanese that during Christmas they're gonna have a KFC for dinner. So a lot of Japanese end up going to KFC, spending a lot of money because for some reason chicken in KFC is very expensive, and they spend a lot of money on a whole bunch of chicken for Christmas. That's not something that I'm incorporating into my lifestyle. No, I'm gonna go with the American lifestyle, where I'm gonna make chicken or turkey, some macaroni cheese and stuff like that, some real cooked food. But that's what Japan does. As far as KFC, Subways, of course, plenty in the States. They're in Japan too. Like Wendy's, it's not as plentiful. So also one big difference is that, and this is quite a thing for many things in Japan, is that the variety is not good. It's not good at all. And fortunately, they do have almost all of the breads, and they do have my favorite bread was the honey oak, so that was good for me. But when it comes to the sauce, like the mustard and stuff, like is they don't have variety of like the ketchups and the other sauces and the mustard. I love spicy mustard, so I will always ask for spicy mustard on my sandwich. But they don't have spicy mustard in Japan. They only have like regular mustard, and I'm like, God damn, come on. I couldn't find no spicy mustard. But at the same time, unfortunately, even when you go to like supermarkets and stuff, there is no spicy mustard. The only reason I have spicy mustard is because I had my mother send some to me. So sometimes what I would do, I would buy a Subway's, take it home, and then put some spicy mustard. Also, another fact is that, and this is with all sandwiches, no matter where you go in Japan, almost anywhere you go in Japan, you're gonna have this problem where they're gonna give you only maybe like 4 or 5 slabs of meat across a whole hero, and then that's it. It's not like the States where they just slap a whole bunch of meat, and you're definitely gonna be full. Nope, Japan is very cheap with the meat. I guess because they don't have a lot of meat, period, because of the land, too many hills, and not enough space to farm animals and stuff like that. So yeah, so prepare for that. Oh, also they may or may not have the cookies that's definitely in the States. I don't recall ever seeing any cookies for me to buy, because I would definitely buy some of those cookies when I was in the state, and I don't think I've seen them in Japan, unfortunately. Next one, Starbucks. Like in the States, there's plenty of Starbucks in Japan. Very popular to Japanese. I guess it's used in a similar way. It's a place to hang out and have your coffee and do some work if you want to, so on and so forth. I can't speak too much about it because I'm not a Starbucks fan. I never really cared for Starbucks. I don't think I've ever ordered anything in the Starbucks. Maybe went in there for a friend to order something from Starbucks, and that's about it. But they're both there. I can't tell you the difference between the two because I'm not really interested in Starbucks, period. So, sorry guys. Taco Bell. Taco Bell, in my opinion, is a dying breed in the States. And interesting enough, GPT claims that it's in Japan, but I've never seen one. So that's all I can say about that. Next one, Domino's. Domino's is pretty plentiful for, a pizza place, a pizza fast food place. This goes back to what I was saying about the Subways. As far as toppings and types of crust and types of sauce and types of cheese, the variety is not going to be as plentiful as in the States. So be prepared for that. Like for example, when I was in the States, I always would get like a bacon topping with Parmesan, garlic cheese, and so on and so forth. But they don't have that. At one point, they did have like a garlic crust for a short period of time, but that was limited, and that's another thing that kind of irks me about Japan, that they bring something good and it's only a limited time thing, and then it's gone within a month or two. Yeah, and that really grinds my gear, but there's nothing I could do about it. So yeah. Pizza Hut. They definitely have Pizza Hut. As you know, to me, Pizza Hut in the States was not as popular. It was either At least in New York City, it was either Domino's or Papa John's. Pizza Hut, I don't think people really cared about Pizza Hut. I don't know how popular it is in Japan. I definitely ordered it, but at the end of the day, I found Domino's to be cheaper. And on top of that, Pizza Hut, I can't confirm in the States because I don't think I had any. But in Japan, the variety of toppings and what you want to put on it is a lot less than Domino's. So, and on top of that, for some reason, Domino's is a lot cheaper. So I've been settling for Domino's if I ever need a pizza. Next one is Denny's. Though I've heard of Denny's, I've never been to a Denny's. I'm not even sure if I've seen a Denny's, at least in New York City. Probably out in other states I've seen it. But like I said, never been in one in the States. I've been in a Denny's in Japan one time. And there's a lot of Denny's in Japan, by the way. But the problem is that like the food is so little for the price, and I just can't justify that. I don't even think it's that good in my opinion, so I can't even justify eating at Denny's. Honestly, I don't know how much food they give you in the States and Denny's, but it's definitely not enough in the States. In Japan, in my opinion, I can't do it. Shake Shack. Shake Shack, definitely heard of it. Never been there. I don't believe in the States. There's a claim that there is Shake Shack in Japan. My wife confirmed there's definitely a Shake Shack in Japan. I haven't really seen one, or at least I don't think I've seen one, or maybe I forgot. So I can't do a comparison. Krispy Kreme. One of those that I never really cared about in the States. And I've never acknowledged in Japan either. So, but this seems to be in Japan, so as claimed. Cinnabon, another like Krispy Kreme, something I don't care about in the States and in Japan, but it's in Japan. Cold Stone Creamery, I'm not sure I've heard of that before, even in the States. It's said to be in Japan. Can't do a comparison because I don't really know about it. IHOP. IHOP is, I believe IHOP is everywhere in the States. Super popular. To me, it's cool. Like when I used to party and go to clubs, we would stop at the IHOP and eat, but it's never been my favorite place for breakfast. Back at home in the States, I used to go to this place, and this is not very big unless it has grown. I mean, it grown, got a few stores in New York City, but I used to go to for breakfast and even lunch and stuff. Jimbo's, which is a Spanish place. They make great breakfast, make some good grits, beef or pork sausage, French toast, pancakes, you name it, they'll probably have it and make it for you. Same with the lunch. They have gyros and hamburgers and all types of stuff. Definitely miss Jimbo's. That's one place I definitely missed. So for those who I don't know if it's in other states, and I'm still talking about Jimbo. I'm gonna ramble about Jimbo. I'm sorry, guys. Jimbo's. I'm not sure if it's in other states, but if you come to New York City, definitely stop at Jimbo's. I definitely recommend it. Let's see. Next one. Oh, and go back to IHOP. IHOP is in Japan, but I never seen it. Never seen it. So, Charles Jr. This is one of those that GPT claimed that was in Japan, but I had to correct it because I definitely saw one and bought food from Carl's Jr. in Japan. So yes, Carl's Jr. I've never eaten it in the States, and I'm not even sure if I don't want to say I haven't seen it. I haven't acknowledged it in the States, but it's definitely in Japan. I can't do a comparison because, like I said, I haven't acknowledged it in the States and probably haven't ordered anything. But the food is definitely good in Japan. The hamburgers is good. I love the chicken tenders. A little too expensive, especially if you want. It's not something that you could just order any time you want. And on top of that, it's not as many Charles Juniors. So like the only one I've ever seen is the one in the mall in Hiratsuka. But like I said, it's there. Just gotta look for it. And the food is good, but like I said, it's expensive. And it's probably more expensive now that the yen, because the yen's not as good as it once was, especially before the pandemic. So next one, we're gonna go to fast food restaurants that's in the States but not in Japan. Number one, Chick-fil-A. Unfortunately, I've never been to a Chick-fil-A. I'm questioning if Chick-fil-A is even in New York City, because I've never seen one in New York City. I hear a lot of people talking good about Chick-fil-A, but I've never seen any in the city, and I'm not even sure if I've seen anyone when I've been on the road out of the state, out of New York City, because I always hear some good things about it, and I always wanted to try it out, but never had the opportunity. Maybe somewhere in the future. But yeah, it's not in Japan. Sorry, guys. Arby's. Arby's is another one that I don't think is in New York City. I think, like, when looking on Google Map, they said there was one Arby's in a mall area, but I never seen it, so I can't confirm. So I'm gonna go with Arby's. It's probably not in the States, but going on the road out of New York City, I definitely seen Arby's. I still do like the roast beef sandwich and putting some horseradish in it. So yeah, but it's not in Japan, unfortunately. Sonic, you're not gonna see nothing like Sonic in Japan. Like this little, you driving and you eat in the car and stuff. Yeah, they don't got nothing like that in Japan. I haven't seen. Mainly because Japan's it's pretty small. And what I mean is, as far as like the roads and stuff and parking places and stuff like that, it's not a lot. So, Japan wouldn't have any. I don't think Japan would really have any space to place a Sonic, in my opinion. Raising Cane's, never heard of it. Not in Japan. In-N-Out Burger, maybe heard of it here and there, but it's not in Japan. What a Burger, heard of it. Not in Japan. Jack in the Box, heard of it. Definitely heard of it. Not in Japan. White Castle. White Castle is weird because I feel like White Castle would fit right in with Japan, with its, not giving as much meat, and White Castle being these small little hamburgers. And at one point they was cheap. I think they got more and more expensive. But yeah, White Castle is not in Japan. Bojangles, heard of it. But never been there, not in Japan. Jimmy John's, heard of it, never been there, not in Japan. Wingstop, I don't think I've heard of it, not in Japan. Zaxby is Zaxby. I'm not sure how that's pronounced, so clearly I never heard of it, not in Japan. Panera Bread, of course I've heard Panera Bread, but never been in there, so but it's not in Japan. Sorry about that, guys. I accidentally hit something on my key and stopped the recording. So going back, I want to bring some special mentions, and I guess there was a reason why I haven't mentioned it yet, and I'm gonna bring them up there. Why? And these two mentions is actually pretty popular. One is going to be Popeyes. Now, as you notice, I didn't mention Popeyes in Japan or not in Japan. And the reason is because it is in Japan, but for most of us, it's not going to be available. What I mean by that, Popeyes. The only place Popeyes is at the moment is in military bases. So unless you are military personnel, or you know someone who could bring you, who could allow you in the military bases, you're not going to have access to Popeyes as much. Now, there's going to be rare times, like maybe 2-3 times of the year, where they have these festivals. So the military base is open to the public, and that's where you could go get your Popeyes. Maybe you can even go into supermarkets and so on and so forth. But other than that, no, you're not gonna be able to buy, go in and order some Popeyes. And on top of that, the Popeyes in those military bases are very limited in terms of the menu. When I went in there, the only thing they was selling was the chicken, the congee fries, and the biscuit. There was no chicken strips or chicken tenders, I believe. There was no popcorn shrimp. There was none of that. None of that. So that's why I didn't put them in. I didn't mention them in the previous parts. The other one that I want to mention, which is also pretty big, is Five Guys. Five Guys is currently not in the States. I mean, in the States. Five Guys is currently not in Japan. However, it is set to come to Japan pretty soon. Actually, early 2025. It was like fall 2024 before, but I guess some things happened and there was a delay. Interesting enough, a Korean company called FG Korea is introducing it into Asia, and it seems like they're going to successfully bring it in Japan. So, and that's good for my wife, because my wife keep hearing good things about Five Guys and definitely interested in it. And I told her like recently that, yeah, Five Guys is going to be coming to Japan soon. She's like, yay! Sorry for the interruption again. One of my kids barged in. So, yeah. But yeah, anyway, Five Guys is definitely coming to Japan by FG Korea. Good on Korea. They're doing their thing. Japan, you need to step up and be more international. That's why you're not doing so well. Struggling. You need to, I don't know. But anyway, we're going to get past that, because that's probably going to be another video. Now, let's talk about Japanese fast food restaurants that may or may not be exclusive to exclusively in Japan, and I'll mention them. So Japanese fast food restaurants. The most biggest one is Mos Burger. Definitely super big in Japan. Is it as big as, let's say, McDonald's? No, I don't think so. But it's definitely all around in Japan. How do I feel about it? I don't really care for it. I've definitely tasted it before. It's just something about it. I don't remember too much about it, but for some reason I didn't like the burger. So, but yeah, you're not gonna find that in the States, unfortunately, if you're interested. Lotteria, not in the States. I want to taste Lotteria. I just haven't had time to go there. So yeah, in the future I'll probably stop by and eat there, see what they have, how good is it, but I can't give you an answer right now. But yeah, it's not in the States. These three I'm going to put together because they're kind of the same, which is Sukiya, Yoshinoya, and Matsuya. I know they got a term for it, but I forgot what it is. But basically, they serve the similar types of Japanese food, whether it's gyudon, which is like beef and rice ball, or maybe a katsudon or something like, and other things like that. Um, no, they don't. They're not exactly the same. Like they might have a different taste. They put different sauces in it to spice it up and be a difference between the other restaurants. Like, but yeah, um, not much to say about it. But I don't want to say it's not much to say about it, because I definitely like them. My favorite out of those three is Matsuya, and for a while, especially when I was my first visit here in Japan, I love Matsuya. It was the beef and rice bowl was good, and it was cheap. So I used to order it all the time. Even when like my first year in Japan, I used to order a whole lot of Matsuya and buy a rice and beef bowl, cause give you for Japan an okay amount of beef and then a lot of rice, and then so matcha is my favorite out of the three. Interesting enough, only Yoshinoya is in the U.S. and it's only in Cali. So good for you guys who's interested in that. The next one is Tenya. I don't really know Tenya, but it's not in the States. Coco Ichibanya. I'm pretty sure a lot of us has heard of that. I don't know too much about it, but it is in the U.S. in Cali. Otoya. Otoya, I don't know much about either. But it is in the U.S. Interesting enough, in New York City, where I'm from, but I've never noticed it. First Kitchen. Now, you probably remember me mentioning First Kitchen when I was talking about Wendy's. First Kitchen, on its own, is a fast food restaurant who's known for its pasta and other types of food. But for me, what I go to First Kitchen for is chicken. Something about its chicken I love. It's fried chicken. To me, it's not. It's better than KFC. It's not better than Popeyes, but it's better than KFC. So since I don't really have access to Popeyes, then I'm gonna settle for First Kitchen chicken, which in my opinion is very good. If you come to Japan, I recommend you go to First Kitchen, try that food out. Even when you go to Wendy's, there's going to be some First Kitchen food there, the chicken, maybe the pasta and other stuff too. And then of course it's also going to have the Wendy's menus like the Baconators and stuff like that, and some of the other basic stuff. But yeah, definitely try First Kitchen if you're in Japan. I think it's worth it. Marugame Seimen. I don't know too much about that, but it's in the U.S. apparently. Toikizoku. Don't know too much about that. It's not in the States. Beard Papas. I don't know if I heard about that, but apparently it is in the U.S. somewhere. Gindako. Never heard of it. Not in Japan, not in the States. Ichiran Ramen. I have heard of it in the States. Have I seen it? No. Or maybe I have. Because I've been to many ramen shops in New York City. But if I have been in there by chance, then I would still say, as I said in previous videos, Jin is probably the best in New York City. Even out of Ichiran Ramen, if I've been in there. If not, then I really can't give you a definite answer. But if I have, then yes, Jin is definitely better. And interesting enough, Jin is not even in Japan. I think Jin is exclusively for New York City in the States. And I've never seen a Jin or heard of a Jin in Japan. But to me, that's like the better ramen in my opinion. Ringer Hut. Don't know about it, but it's in the U.S. and Cali. Okay. Alright, so I think that covers everything. I don't think I'm gonna really touch anymore on like the convenience stores. If I want to go more into the convenience stores, I'll make a whole different video for that. So I hope you enjoyed. I don't know how long this is because I cut it off so many times. Still about 30 minutes, so around the same time as my last video. I was hoping I could cut it short, but it is what it is. I hope you found it enlightening. I hope you found some interest in what I talked about. If you didn't, oh well, we'll try again next time. So, to my people who's made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe. Peace out.